Hi, welcome to the Ambient iPad. Let's make some music. Today we're going to incorporate the Mellotron with some other apps on the iPad, including the Gauss Field Looper and some effects and percussion. Now, while the Mellotron uses samples from original master tapes of all the different Mellotron models, the Mark I, the Mark II, the M300, the M400, and a couple of Chamberlain models, we're going to focus on the Mellotron Mark I sounds today. That was the original Mellotron, so the sounds are really pretty vintage sounding, and I think you'll hear that particularly in the loop. We're going from the Mellotron's mono analog output into a Focusrite Scarlett 18i8 interface that then goes to this USB-C hub, which allows me to get the sound back and forth with the iPad as well as provide power. All right, let's give this a try. We have our blank instance of apeMatrix open. Let's add some effects first, and we'll listen to them as we're adding them in. One thing I want to do is make sure I turn down the tempo because we are going to use drums, and we will rely on that. So let's get to 90. All right, so FAC chorus, not chorus, phaser. FAC phaser for sure. I do like this phaser with the Mellotron. We'll use the patch that I've created for keys, but today we'll go with a 50% wet-dry mix. And let's connect that, and this is pretty much what that is. All right, now let's add in, I want to use something different today, QVox. I don't really use that much, and it'll be good for this. So just gonna pick the first preset, which works fine. Let's turn that off, open that up, and this is what we've got with that. So it just adds a few other pitches, harmonization. Okay, that works. We want a delay, and I'll go with what I usually do, which is the K7D from Imaginando. We'll take one of my basic tape delays, turn off that. You hear that? That's good. Of course, we need reverb. We're actually going to put up two reverbs, one for the Mellotron, as we're using Gauss, and I'll just go with Blackhole for that. And we'll use presets I have. Let's go up a little with that. And for that, we've got this sound, reverb, pretty basic, nice and big, big-ish. We'll use a bigger one for maybe some lead stuff. Then we'll use ADverb2 for the drums. As always, very low mix, 2, and it may even need to go lower than that. I will use the small drum plate. That's a good all-around one. We don't need to connect that now. That will be just for the drums. Now let's add Gauss, and I'm purposely adding Gauss at the end so that all the effects will go through it while recording, but while Gauss is playing back, that won't be the case. And you know what? Why don't we do the Gauss loop first, and then we'll add the drums in as it's going along. So we definitely want to keep the reverb on and the delay. I'll add in. No, let's not start with those. Let's start with QVox. All right. One thing I want to make sure with Gauss is that everything's connected. So all the effects are going to go through Gauss. The Mellotron will go through Gauss. All the effects except the adverb. And Mellotron, of course, the original Mellotron tapes, so they were anywhere between 7.5 to 9 seconds long, but most were around 8 seconds. So let's go with 8 seconds just to make it easy, although we'll do some things so hopefully it won't be jarring cutoffs of sounds, like we're going to fade in here. We want overdub, whoops, not monitor, overdub on. Seems like everything is set the way I want it to. Maybe a little inertia today, no warble. We don't need warble because there is warble built into the Mellotron from the original tapes. You can also go in the system and kind of add warble just like you could with this, but I find that unnecessary, particularly with layering sounds. You only need one sound here and there with, and it wouldn't be all the notes. It's because with the Mellotron, every single note was tape, was a separate tape, and for this, every single note is sampled separately. So a note here, a note there might be a little off, but you layer 4 or 5 sounds, and then of course you're getting 8, 9, 10 sounds that are slightly off pitch. You're going to hear that when we start doing the loop. So seems like everything here is set, and I think we're ready to go. So let's hit record. Wait till it comes around to the beginning. And we're just gonna layer different sounds with different effects, similar to what we always do. Because the Mellotron is a bit of a darker instrument, I'm focusing more on the high notes with the loop, or it's just going to sound really dark, particularly if we go to half speed. So you're getting the idea here. We're just building up, just picking random sounds that I think would fit. We shouldn't need too many more. You know what, let's turn QVox on again, just for a little variety. So as you can see, you can quickly layer sounds with Gauss and get a nice trumpet. Let's end with the trumpet. Yeah, let's have everything open. We'll be up high here for that. Definitely has a synth, a bit of a synth sound to it, organy synth sound. And one more pass and I think we'll be good. Let's fill in a little hole there. All right. Turn record off. And then, you know, we could do a little lead over this pad of some sort, like an organ. Let's find an organ here. Got to stay in the Mark 1. Let's try this. No idea what this is going to sound like, but let's give it a whirl. See what else we got here. Oh, the sax. Except for that bum note. So we got that going here. Let's make sure we're still recording, and we are. Been having issues with screen recording, so I have to check because it stops in the middle and it doesn't save what I have. Ends up being a waste of time. So let's hope this keeps going. So let's add some drums in. I want to use just something basic. How about Ruismaker Noir? This isn't going to be really basic. The only issue here, and you know what, I'm gonna cut this off at the pass. Let's bring this down. The drums are going to overpower, I can just tell. And let's see what it is with the direct sound. Let me pick a sound I know is okay. Shouldn't be too busy and too over the top. That one. So let's Rozeta X0X. We'll just do a random pattern here. We do need to turn on. Actually, that's okay. A little more reverb. Okay. Turn off the direct sound. We turn that down too much. That's the problem. Actually, at 0 or close to 0. I've mentioned this before. It's really hard. Some fine movements on some of these. I mean, I'm barely moving my finger and I can't get it to go to 0. What if I double click on it? Does that make it 0? I don't know. You know what? Close enough. Let's lower the direct sound a little. Close enough for ambient music. And then we could, you know, do the usual here. What I do with this, which is play with this. And then let's get the sequencer going. Try tenor sax again. Piano. I wonder what that'll sound like. A little jarring between these two octaves because the Mellotron Mark I was really two separate keyboards and a little, think a piece of wood or something in the middle. So you would play separate things on one side. So think of this as the split keyboard. You've got lower notes here, but then they just skip a whole octave. So you go. All right. You get the idea. So let me zero everything out and reset this, and we'll come back and we'll do a jam. Stay tuned. can get some really interesting evolving soundscapes with the Gauss Field Looper, whether using a synthesizer as a sound source, or in our case a Mellotron. But even when we went to half speed, you could still hear some of those Mellotron sounds come through. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and good luck with your own music.